What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a special Sunday Have At It. That's the title of the show. My name is Ben Cornett. We are live on Facebook, also in my Facebook group, the Ben Zone, as well as my Instagram account. I finally was able to connect to Instagram, so I could show the live video on that platform as well, and also live, as always, on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015. That's Ben Cornett 9015. And please give me a like, share, and follow. I would greatly appreciate that. And first off, I want to say it's been a while since I've done one of these have at its. Been very busy, obviously, that's life. Sometimes life gets in the way, but got some free time tonight. Obviously, as a Bucks fan, our team had a bye week, so I got to see a lot of other teams, a lot of other games around the NFL today, which was very interesting. I'll start off by saying that you got to feel for the Chicago Bears. Man, you could tell there was a big difference in the offense today. Caleb Williams played better. The line, you know, not every down or every snap, but I thought they did a pretty good job of protecting Caleb. They were able to, switch things up a little bit, some more rollouts. Um, you know, Opened up the playbook a little bit more, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The Bears drove it down the field. Obviously, Caleb took a couple sacks in the first two plays of that last series, and then was able to make a spectacular play to get the ball down the field. I believe it was to DJ Moore. And then after that, they settled for the field goal. Um, Unfortunately, it got blocked, and Green Bay survives. And I'll tell you, Green Bay, they, coming off a bye week, didn't look all that impressive to me. I stated before the season started that the Super Bowl would be the Chiefs and Packers. I kind of still feel that way. Although I definitely like the Chiefs. And we'll get to them in a minute. Green Bay, however, I mean, Jordan Love's got to start protecting the ball better. He had an interception today. Um, you know, had some throws that I thought were, just throws you can't make that were didn't look good coming out of his hand. Um, his decision making still isn't the greatest. A lot of talent, but again, you know, he's lucky to have a good offensive line, also good running back with Josh Jacobs. Green Bay is going to have to figure it out. Yeah, they got the win, but you know, you could argue that the Bears kind of let that one slip away. You know, they had a chance; they could have won that game if that field goal didn't get blocked. So Green Bay special teams bailed them out, and um, like I said, tough break for Chicago. The Bears definitely played good enough to win this game, but just could not pull it out in the end. So that being said, some other great games going around. I watched the Ravens Steelers today, which was your typical AFC North uh, rivalry, hard hitting. Both defenses dominated. Steelers made more plays. The Steelers still have, the Ravens number. It seems like, for Baltimore again, high power offense got shut down. Uh, Defensively, the Ravens I thought probably played their best game of the year, but they can't stop the run. That's a big concern for me. If I'm a Ravens fan, I would definitely be concerned about stopping the run. They had some moments, but uh, Russell Wilson, he's found the fountain of youth. He's kind of had a rejuvenation in Pittsburgh. Um, so good for him. He went to the right place. Steelers great offensive line. TJ Watt is TJ Watt. He's still one of the best in the NFL. One of the best to do it right now. So give him credit. Ravens made it interesting. They got a touchdown late in the game. It was 18-16, then couldn't convert on the 2-point conversion. So Pittsburgh came away with the win. Big win. for Pittsburgh. Oh, one sec. Water bottle. There we are. So yeah, but great game. You love, hard hitting defenses. If you love the AFC North, that was the game to watch today. So yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's just incredible. 8-2 on the season. I believe they're 8-2, either 8-2 or 9-2. I don't know if they had their bye week yet, but man, they look great. They look really good, and they look like a legit contender in the AFC. Some other games around the league. The Rams, good bounce back win against New England. Patriots, I'm telling you, they're slowly starting to get going. Drake May, I said a few weeks ago they need to start him. Brissett's time's over with. Let Drake play, and so far he's shown he can play. He's going to make some mistakes, but at the same time he makes some good throws, good decision making. He's not afraid of the moment, and he kept the Patriots in the game. So, kudos for him. The Rams, not their best game, but a good bounce back win after that disappointing loss Monday night to Miami. Like I said, the Rams get fully healthy. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFC. That's going to be the key. They got to get healthy. Also, the Vikings in the NFC took care of Tennessee. I think we all figured that would happen. Justin Jefferson got back on track today, got a couple touchdowns. Tennessee's Tennessee. They're rebuilding, so it's no surprise. Will Levis played a little better today, but they're rebuilding. They got to figure it out. Give Brian Callahan some time. And that's the key. Got to build through the draft. Gonna have to get a receiver, probably another offensive lineman. You could use another linebacker on the Titans, especially now that you traded your linebacker to Seattle, Ernest Jones. So that's a rebuilding project over there. Lions just continue to look like a team that could win a Super Bowl. Destroyed Jacksonville. Jacksonville's, they're finished. We're just counting down the days before Doug Peterson gets canned. Looks like that's what's going to happen. So, but Detroit looking great. Offense continues to hum. Defensively, they look really good. I know they lost Alazon today, their linebacker. They'll lose him for the next month and a half, but Detroit will be fine. They'll be okay. The Darius Smith's there now, so came from the Browns, played a solid game. Speaking of the Browns, that was one of those games where a lot of people picked the Browns to upset the Saints today. I didn't see it because, again, the Browns aren't a very good team. Jameis, he's trying, but that team's damaged goods. And, another head coach that could be out the door, and Kevin Stefanski. So, it's unfortunate, but, they just offensively not very good. Defensively, they got tore up today by New Orleans, who they're not very good either, which surprised me that they, even done this the way they're playing pretty good right now, but I don't know if that's sustainable. Derek Carr again, he had a solid game, but he'll regress. It's typical Derek Carr. He'll have good games, then he'll start dipping. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. The Raiders, Derek Carr's former team. They're the Raiders. They're not good offensively. They changed coordinators during the bye week. Yeah, it looked a little better offensively for him, but not much. I'm not impressed. So, they're going to draft a quarterback, or they shouldn't anyway. Miami starting to get it together a little bit. Tua starting to come back nicely. I still think it's too little, too late, but better late than never. So let's see what happens there. 2 wins in a row. Luckily, they still got to play the Jets twice. That should be 2 wins there. We'll get to the Jets in a minute. Jim Melvin, thanks for tuning in, man. How you doing tonight? Chargers are coming on, and Herbert is on fire. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I picked Cincinnati to win this game tonight. I looking really wrong on that one. The Bengals. I think this is it. They lose tonight, season's over. So yeah, and the LA Chargers looking great. Defensively, they're dominating right now. They're just giving Joe Burrow a hard time. He's made some throws here and there, but it's not really made a difference. They just can't get into the end zone, when they've been in the red zone. So, yeah, the Chargers look like they're on their way to another win. And then in a couple weeks, they got that showdown with Kansas City on Sunday night. So that should definitely be a fun game to watch. There's some other games around the league as well. The Colts and Jets. Yeah. I'll start with the Colts. They brought back Anthony Richardson. They benched him earlier this season. Joe Flacco got a couple games in, didn't look good at all. And they made the switch back to A-Rich, and he, played pretty good today. Maybe that'll help. I mean, look, Bryce Young got benched. Andy Dalton came in. Now they brought Bryce Young back. He's starting to look good all of a sudden. So, maybe that's what it needed. Colts, I think they're still in it. I still think they got a chance at a wild card. A good win for them. And, just got to keep it going. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but, offensively, they're very talented. Jonathan Taylor didn't really have his best game today. You got Pittman. You got the rookie receiver from Texas. They got some weapons. They're solid. And as for the Jets, I mean, it's pretty embarrassing to see this. And I saw this coming from a mile away. The Jets are the Jets. They suck. They stink. There's 53 guys on that team that play for themselves, not for the team. Aaron Rodgers is washed up. He's done. Period. He looks like he's a 40-year-old guy that looks like a 60. He looks like Mike Tyson out there in the boxing ring right now. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. That fight on Friday night with Jake Paul. But the Jets, it's over with. And, hey, Devontae, you want it out of there? You went out of Vegas? You wanted to go to play with your friend? And hasn't made a difference. Defense sucks still. Although I'll say today they didn't commit too many bad penalties, but that last drive, I mean, they just let the Colts go right down the field. So yeah, Jets. If I'm the Jets, man, I could see it happening. Aaron Rodgers, if he comes back, he's going to have a say on who the head coach is going to be. And they're going to be still stuck in mediocrity. So, you're almost better off just rebuilding and just move on. Just move on. So, those are the morning games. To the afternoon games, the Falcons and the Broncos, the Atlanta Falcons. I've said it all year, they're overrated. And I'm not taking anything away from Denver's, from this Broncos team. Great defense. Sean Payton's really turned that team around. It's great to see. Bo Nix played a great game today. Atlanta, their defense isn't that good either. They can't get a pass rush. I think they're like bottom in the league in sacks. So that's no surprise. I mean, considering what you saw today, I mean, their defense is very, very mediocre at best. It's not supposed to be their strength, especially if you got Matt Judon, before the season started. I don't know what's happened to him. Um, so yeah, the Falcons, yeah, good offense, but when their defense can't do anything, and Broncos defense can stop a good offense, then you're in trouble. So, and Denver, I think they're undefeated against the NFC South this year. So Sean Payton swept all of us, even the Bucks. They swept everybody in the NFC South this year. So yeah, Atlanta overrated, and I'll admit my dumbass took the Falcons because I thought it would be a close game. I wanted to see how Denver would do after that tough loss the week before with the blocked field goal kick to try and win the game. But Denver answered the bell. So in Atlanta, they didn't. Bottom line. So, but I'll tell you who I did pick today. I picked the Buffalo Bills to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And by the way, Ben's Quick Picks, that's my show where I pick every week all the games, pick who wins, and straight up. And that's on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015. And I picked the Bills to beat KC today. I felt good about that. I felt like, Kansas City, their luck was going to run out. I knew that because they were able to get that blocked field goal against Denver to win the game, hold on. And I just felt this week was the week. They're a great team, championship caliber team. They're the two-time defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. They find ways to win, but they haven't played their best football. And even in these wins, most of their wins haven't been against. It hasn't been their best football. And also, they got Kareem Hunt. He's had a career revival. Him and DeAndre Hopkins, and Juju, those guys. But Isaiah Pacheco is really the key to their offense, and he is back, but he didn't play in this game. He'll probably be back the next game. That's where I think you're going to see Kansas City go on a run. They play Carolina next week, so should be a win, and they'll get it figured out and march on to try and win their third straight Super Bowl. So, but this was the week Buffalo. I just felt like they needed this more than anybody. Just because, for one, they haven't really played anybody. The teams they lost to, the Ravens, they blew them out. So, I forget who the other team was that beat them, but my point is that they beat Miami twice. They beat the Jets. So really, they were stepping up in weight class today, and I felt they really needed this victory. So I'm glad that they were able to get it. And now they're 9-2. They got their bye week coming up. So depending on how Kansas City does next week, if they happen to somehow lose to Carolina, then Buffalo will have the number 1 seed. It's a long way to go, but again, I think what's amazing about Buffalo's win today, they did it with a lot of people out. They didn't have Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper. Defensively, they were shorthanded as well. So that was a really impressive win. And Josh Allen, the MVP of the game, Sajir had some nice catches today. James Cook was cooking today, running the football. Defensively, for the most part, they were able to get to Patrick Mahomes. Guys like Kelsey and I'd say Watson, Worthy, except for that one play early on in the game, really wasn't much of a factor. So, Buffalo did a great job shutting down the offense, and give them credit. I think psychologically for the Bills, this was a very important game. I know they interviewed Josh Allen after the game saying that this game was, extra special. And Josh said, no, it's just another game. But he'll never admit that. But I'm sure this was a big game for him and the Bills psychologically. So, yeah. This was a good win for Buffalo. Like I said, I called that one. Just based more on KC, I think just their luck starting to run out. Um, so yeah. And then the other game, the one that I think, was some would consider an upset today. The Seattle Seahawks going to San Fran, upsetting the 49ers 20-17. That's a game I watched as well. As long I was going back and forth between that and the Bills and Chiefs because here in Vegas, both games were televised, so I didn't have to go on the ticket to watch, these games. But San Fran, I mean, I don't know. Are they getting older? Is this team starting to look old? I mean, George Kittle didn't play today, which it turned out to be a big loss. But I thought they could make that up with their other tight end, Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings had a great game. So, he did his part. But, Seattle, for the most part, they were able to pressure Brock Purdy a lot. Couldn't, got some throws off, but then he didn't. McCaffrey had a pretty good game, but the Niners just couldn't get in the red. When they got in the red zone, they couldn't, capitalize. Couldn't get touchdowns. Well, they did, but they couldn't get more touchdowns than they should have. And Seattle took advantage of their opportunities. I thought that last defensive series for the 49ers, I felt like the 49ers, I thought they went too soft with their coverage. Jackson Smith-Njigba had a couple of catches. I thought they left that middle wide open. Familiar, right, Bucs fans? Where Todd Bowles, they leave that middle wide open, play it too safe. And with Geno, I know they're thinking, okay, we don't want anything going over the top. We don't want them to throw a touchdown. I wouldn't worry about Geno. Geno Smith can turn the ball over. I would have took my chances. You can't leave that middle of the field open. And that's what they did. And to me, that was disappointing. So, and Geno Smith ran that ball for the touchdown. It was a good play call because Niners didn't expect that. And he ran it in for the touchdown with 12 seconds left. They got the win. So Seattle keeps their playoff hopes alive, but I don't think Seattle's as good as people think. I'm not impressed with them. I don't see it, but good win, good division win, and now Seattle and the Niners are both 5-5, and Arizona's leading that division. So I don't know. It's a crazy division. Let's see. Jim Melvin. Everybody thinks they can beat Brady, at least in terms of playing in his mid-40s, but in that regard, at least there was only one Brady. Well, yeah, and I think you're referring to Aaron Rodgers, who, Aaron, he's the difference between Brady and Aaron Rodgers. It's real simple. Aaron Rodgers is selfish. Tom Brady's not. Tom Brady wins. He wants to win. He'll do whatever it takes to win. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. It's all about him. It's all about him. He doesn't want to go to OTAs. He doesn't want to, especially, you only played 4 snaps in 2023. I would think you'd want to go to OTAs for, get familiar with your receivers, get familiar with Garrett Wilson. But no, he didn't do that. And, the Jets, they just bow down to him. Gets what he wants. That's convenient for Aaron Rodgers, not the team. Tom Brady's not that way. Tom Brady made everybody around him better. He took pay cuts. The only reason Aaron Rodgers took a pay cut this year is because the Jets had to get money to stay above the cap. You think Aaron Rodgers would have said, okay, here's some of my money. I'll just convert it into a bonus. No, fuck no. Excuse my language. That's the difference. And, Aaron Rodgers is finished. He's done. That's it. And that's it for the Jets. They suck. And they always will. As long as they got an incompetent owner and they can keep continuing to, do the crap they do, the Jets will always be at the bottom of the league. That's just the truth. So, Johnny D, Benny Boy. Hey, Johnny, how's it going tonight, man? How you doing? Johnny D and Bills have won 3 straight regular season games versus the Chiefs. This game was a warm-up for them. Yeah. And that's another thing. Good point, Johnny. The Chiefs, during the regular season, Buffalo's had their number. It's just in the postseason, KC has beaten Buffalo. So that's another thing I took into consideration. Buffalo's done good against KC in the regular season. So, yeah. As of today, are the Lions the best team in the NFL? That's from Jim Melvin. I would say absolutely, because they're playing the best football right now. Now, people will say, "Oh, they played Jacksonville, they played Tennessee." Well, they've wiped the floor with them. That's what great teams do. They wipe the floor with bad teams. They went to Green Bay, beat them. Okay. The only team they lost to were the Bucks. And you could argue the Lions probably could have won that game too if they didn't make, a couple mistakes here and there. They'd be undefeated right now. I think the Lions, the Steelers, and then the Chiefs. Oh no, I'd have to put the Bills because they beat the Chiefs. So those would be my top 4. Ravens, I'll go top 5. So the Lions, I think, are the best team in the NFL right now, without a shadow of a doubt. And speaking of Detroit Lions, I know I said this to him earlier today, but I just want to wish my good friend Alex Loosemore up there in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, a happy birthday. I hope he had a great birthday. Got a great present with the Lions dusting off the Jaguars. So yeah, Jim, Lions, I think I agree, they're the best team in the NFL as we speak. Marty, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in. He says, "Hey Ben, Marty, how about them Falcons?" Yeah, again, like I mentioned earlier, they overrated, especially that defense. They have no pass rush. Can't get to the quarterback. And that was against the rookie today, Bo Nix. Bo Nix, I think, is playing really good football. And great draft pick for Denver. Sean Payton's molding him into his kind of quarterback, and you're seeing the results of that right now. So Denver almost beat KC too. So I mean, Denver, a year or two from now, watch out. Watch out. They're going to be fun. That AFC West is going to be great. Listen, you got the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos. You got 3 teams that could make the playoffs this year. And right now, the Chargers are dominating Cincinnati, so their defense and Jim Harbaugh's turned that thing around. He's built it perfect. I mean, what do you do? Where are we going to be? We're going to run the ball. We're going to protect Justin Herbert as much as possible. Justin Herbert's only had 1 interception the whole year. And surprisingly, they still throw the ball pretty much, more than I thought they would. So they're not just a running football team. They go in the draft, they draft Joe Alt, they draft a linebacker or an offensive lineman, which you're supposed to do. Get the run going. J.K. Dobbins running the ball well this year. So, man, they got a team. Denver's doing good. They got their quarterback, it seems like. Chiefs, they're still the Chiefs. They're going to be around a while. It's a 3-team division right now. That AFC West is very exciting. And, the Chargers have another chance to get the Chiefs. The Chiefs beat them earlier in the season, not by much, because that game was close. Chargers kept up with them. So, and that was the game Pacheco got injured too, I believe. So, yeah, in a couple weeks, it's a Sunday night football game. I'm looking forward to that game. I think it'll be a hell of a game. And I could see San Diego. Oh, screw it. They're still the San Diego Chargers to me. I see the Chargers going in there, and I can see them beating the Chiefs. I really could. because I think defensively they're for real. They've only allowed 13 points a game, and they're getting there. They're getting there. They're putting the league on notice right now. So, and they got a big game next Sunday too against Baltimore, I believe. Man, so this is going to be a tough schedule coming up for the Chargers here, but defensively, they're definitely going to keep the Chargers in games, no doubt about it. So, Marty says best football team in the NFL, in my opinion, Detroit Lions. Yes, I said it. Well, you have to, Marty. I mean, the way they played this year. I mean, again, I'm glad we beat them, but nobody else has, and they've dominated their opponents. Hell, they really dominated Green Bay in Green Bay, if you think about it. Had a great game against Minnesota. Came down to a field goal. Minnesota's a very good defensive team. So Detroit's for real, guys. And I would love. I mean, if it's not us, not these guys, would love to see Detroit win a Super Bowl. I think it would be really cool. The first time ever. Be cool for that city, that town, they deserve it, and they've built it the right way. Dan Campbell's built a culture there. I know some people may not like it. They may think he's a meathead and everything, and perhaps he acts like one, but the results have proven that this team in a few years has grown into a powerhouse. They've drafted well, made some good trades. Jared Goff's revitalized his career there. So, I mean, the results speak for itself. Detroit is a great football team. Best in the league right now, no doubt about that. Johnny Dean says it's simple. Rodgers sucks. Yeah, it does. I forget about how I don't like him. He's washed up. He's old. Can't move around. Doesn't have that same of movement out of the pocket like he used to. The ball doesn't come out as fast. It just seems like he doesn't want to be there, at least to me. But it's his attitude, and it reflects around the team. I mean, my God, he threw Mike Williams under the bus a few weeks ago. You know what? Mike Williams is like, oh yeah, well, excuse me, well, fuck you. Look what I'm doing in Pittsburgh right now. Mike Williams, he's got to be the happiest guy right now. He went to Pittsburgh. So, now you're on a team that's one of the best in the league. I would say the second best team in football next to Detroit. Wouldn't that be something? Detroit-Pittsburgh Super Bowl. I would love to see that. But, Aaron Rodgers he's getting what he deserves. Devontae Adams, has that helped? No. Sean Reddick finally decided I wanted to show up, and yeah, that hasn't made a difference. So they suck. Marty, in another opinion, the most scariest team in the football right now is the Rams. Yeah, and I said that, and going back to what I said earlier, they get healthy, they get everybody healthy. That team's good. That team is really good. They can beat some teams. I don't know if they could beat the Lions, but they definitely can do some damage in the postseason. No doubt about it. Jim, when Herbert is healthy, he's an impressive runner. Yeah, he is. Oh, he's very athletic for his size. And I like how now that he has a running game, he has a good offensive line. There's not as much pressure on it. He can, the playbook gets bigger, and run the ball, set up the big play. Herbert's got the big arm. His decision making's been a lot better because he hasn't had to be the key focus here. Before Harbaugh came in, he's had to be the main guy. He's felt like he's had to carry this team on his back, and now he doesn't have to do that. He's got a great offensive line. He's got a great running game. He now can doesn't have that pressure on him. So it makes it easier for him to play the game and help his team win. That's what they're doing right now. So he's got some good receivers. I mean, people thought, oh, they'd have a drop off with Williams and Keenan Allen, but Lad McClankey, I think McCaskey or what his name is, the rookie out of Georgia, played nice. Got hurt earlier. I don't know if he came back in the game, but Quentin Williams or Johnson, I think it is Quentin Johnson, all of a sudden starting to show why he was one of the top receivers in the league. When he came out of TCU, Josh Palmer's always been a solid receiver, good route runner. So the weapons are there, and Justin Herbert hasn't missed a beat. Johnny says Tommy ain't no angel, Ben. No, but I'm just going by, if we're talking about him and Aaron Rodgers on the field, clearly Tom Brady, more successful, better teammate. Maybe except for that last year when he pretty much, Tom Brady did kind of give up, but I always look at that more because Ryan Jensen got hurt in training camp, couldn't quite recover from that. Tom Brady and Ryan Jensen had that connection. They just had that connection and it worked. So when he lost that, he probably lost interest in the team. And Ali Marpet retired. That hurt. So a lot of things went down. I'm just going by who the better teammate would be. And clearly Brady's definitely the better teammate. Johnny Dean, don't undervalue his arm. That's Herbert you're talking about. Absolutely. Herbert has both, said Jim. Jim, I don't know if you would consider them a surprise team, but the Vikings might still run the table. I like them, but Sam Darnold, I think we're all just waiting for that moment he starts to crash down a little bit. It's that Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of, what do they call it? That syndrome, that Ryan Fitzpatrick syndrome, when he looks good the first few games of the year, and then all of a sudden you figure him out and he starts to play bad. We're kind of waiting for that moment, and but so far Darnold today played a pretty good game, and did it against a pretty good Tennessee team. They're defensively, at least. Offensively, they're terrible, but defensively, Tennessee's pretty good. So, they're going to get better and better. But yeah, I think Minnesota can win a playoff game, but they're not going to go very far. Because you got Detroit, the Rams get hot, watch out for them. If the Bucks can get hot, so Philly as well. Although I'm not too high on Philadelphia, but Washington, it's another team. I know we didn't talk about that game. Eagles beat the Commanders. Defensively, I like Philly. And Saquon Barkley's carrying that team right now. Let's just face it, he's the best running back in football. I'd even say he's the best running back over Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry, unfortunately, had a fumble today. I think it was on the opening series. But that Eagles team is the best player on that team right now is Saquon Barkley. And their defense has been solid. So Vikings defense, 5 sacks and interception today. Yeah. And really, the Vikings defense, Jim, is going to be the key to their success. It's been the key to their success. It's just that offensively, if you're going to say they're going to run the table, I just worry offensively, Darnold might not, he's that kind of quarterback that still can turn the ball over. So we'll see. But yeah, definitely Minnesota is one of the best defensive teams in football, along with the Steelers and the Lions. And the Ravens are too. I got to throw them in there. The Chiefs, very good defensively. So yeah, the Vikings are good. They're good. Man, so I want to, by the way, thanks guys for tuning in this unexpected Sunday night have at. I appreciate the comments in the comment section. Appreciate that. Jim put out his NFC list. Lions 1, Eagles 2, Vikes 3, Packers 4. Solid. Is that your list, Jim, or is that the current standings right now? Just wondering. But yeah, Lions definitely on top, into the best team in the NFL. So, Blackie, thanks for tuning in tonight. Appreciate it, man. How you doing, sir? Blackie Lawless. He says, "Do we think Evans will be back next week?" Yeah, that's when he's supposed to be back next week. So that's the thing for the Bucks. I mean, Atlanta gifted us 2 losses because now the Bucks can still win this division. Atlanta's lost 2 in a row. Now, if it comes to tiebreakers, the Falcons do win the division because they beat us twice. But you look at the schedule for the Bucks. I mean, if we can get it together defensively, get healthy, we're at the Giants next week. The Giants are tanking. They're not good. We're at Carolina. Okay, they're playing a little better right now, but it's still a winnable game. The Raiders at home. They're tanking. They're not very good. They have no offense. Okay. At the Chargers, that's probably going to be the toughest game of the year out of all the games. The Chargers. I could see a loss there just because they're so good defensively. But then you got the Cowboys, who are Dak's gone for the year. Cowboys are Cowboys. They're not very good. That's a winnable game there. Then you got Carolina again in Tampa. Then you got the New Orleans Saints, which, I will admit, the Saints, they, no matter how good or bad they do, they always play us well. So if it comes down to it, the last game of the season, we got the Saints at home. We beat them earlier in the year. We can definitely beat them again, depending on what the Saints do the rest of the way. So, yeah, I mean, just some winnable games. And then, meanwhile, the Falcons, they got to go to Minnesota still. They still got to play the Chargers. They got some tough games ahead. Not an easy schedule. They've already lost 2 straight. So, right now, had they won these 2, had they won this week, it'd be 3 games up. And it'd be hard for us to, get back in it. But with the 2 losses now, we're still in it. We're definitely still in it. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good for us, I will say. Yeah, so that is the NFL talk for this week. Tomorrow night we got the Texans and the Chargers. Should be a very interesting game. Or I'm sorry, Texans and Cowboys, not the Chargers. And, like I said, the Cowboys don't have Prescott. I think CD's out. Houston, they've been struggling, but this could be their get right game, and they're going to need it. They really need this win. So I think they're going to come out and play well. They're going to get Nico Collins back. That's huge. I think Mixon's still out, or no, he's still playing. Who's Dameon Pierce? Yeah, but I think they'll be okay. Their offensive line needs to get better though. Protect CJ Stroud. So yeah. Well, we'll talk about the Tyson Jake Paul fight. Friday night on Netflix. Man, what a night. What a night for Netflix. Buffering issues. That was crazy. Yeah, it was a Netflix thing. It was their first time doing live stuff. And when you do live stuff, the servers were crashing. Luckily, mine wasn't too bad, but still, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. We got 2 NFL games coming up on Christmas Day. And two good games, too. Chiefs and Steelers, Ravens and Texans. You think the traffic is going to be bad for that Tyson fight? Wait till the NFL games. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Then WWE Raw is coming in January. So, yeah, it's Netflix better get it together, man. They need to get their thing going. I think they will eventually. It'll be fine, but you know, Prime, the first year had a few glitches. It happens, when you're trying something new, trying something, on live TV. So, as far as the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight again, I'm not impressed with Jake Paul. You went 8 rounds with a 58-year-old guy. Seriously? I mean, yeah, he's Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson was tired by round 2. I'm sorry, but Jake Paul, he's just a YouTube sensation. And kudos to him. He's used it the right way. He's made money off of it. I'll never knock anybody for making money off doing anything, legally. He's done it. He's great. He's got a platform and it's worked for him. But, I can't take a guy like Jake Paul seriously until he fights real competition. Let's see how he does that. But for right now, he's putting on celebrity fights. He's putting on fights that, he knows he can win because the opponents aren't that good. And before people say, well, but he beat Tyron Woodley, he, beat Ngannou, he's beaten those guys. They're MMA fighters. Okay. They do more than boxing. They're strikers as well. And changing from MMA to boxing, you have to change your fighting style. And they're not used to just boxing. So, and Jake Paul, listen, again, I think he's made improvements as a fighter, but again, he's not great because he hasn't fought any great real competition. And his one loss was to Tyson Fury's brother. So, who's an actual decent boxer. So, yeah, again, until we see Jake Paul fight real competition, I can't say he's a great boxer. Sorry, I just can't. I thought the fight before that, the Serrano Katie Taylor fight, was great. I thought Amanda Serrano won. I think she got robbed. I had her winning 6 rounds. I had her, or I'm sorry, 5 rounds to 3. I did. I had Serrano winning that fight. But judges saw it differently, and I hope they run it back because Serrano, that they should have a trilogy. Those two are great fighters. Great fighters. I hope they run that one back. So, and as far as Mike Tyson goes, look, I wanted him so bad to win, to just knock Jake Paul out, but didn't happen. But I'm just glad he didn't get seriously hurt. For his age, it's a real risk going out there, but he did it, and I respect him for that. So, Mike, thank you, but I think you should hang it up. That's it. Enjoy life, man. Just enjoy life. You've earned a second chance in life. You had your issues out of the ring years and years ago, but and you bit Holyfield. I get that, but look, you've cleaned up real nicely. You've turned it around. Enjoy life, and enjoy it. You made your money. Just for the 20th time I've said this, just enjoy life. That's it. That's all you got to do. You know, you've earned it. Jim Melvin, if the Bucks win the games they're supposed to win, there's hope. But how often do the Bucks win the games they're supposed to win? Yeah, true. Their defense has to get better, especially in key moments of games, late in games. They have to get stops. The offense has kept them in games. You could argue that they should have won against KC Monday night. I would have went for 2, in that game. But they gave Mahomes an opportunity in overtime. They took it and won it. Again, 49ers, they missed 3 field goals. Mayfield brought you back, and then your last defensive possession, Niners just got down the field with ease, kicked the game-winning field goal. So 2 games, it could have been 6-4 now instead of 4-6. You'd be tied with Atlanta for first place. I don't know, but they got to close games out, and against these opponents coming up, they should be able to. Jim says the 2 undercard fights were extraordinary. Yeah, I agree. They were fun. They're a lot of fun to watch. And Jake Paul is about the 30th best heavyweight right now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's okay. He's getting better. I'll say that. I'll admit that. He looks improved. But he's just a long way away from being a great fighter, a great boxer. He's got to fight more credible opponents to earn my respect. And if he looks good in those fights, whether he wins or loses, then he'll earn my respect more. But until then, he's going to make these kind of fights with either older fighters or, MMA fighters who want to get into boxing. That's what he's going to do. And hey, he's making money off of that, and good for him. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll never begrudge anybody for making money, legally, that is. So, but as far as being a great boxer, he's not there. He's not even close. So, wow, man, we're going into almost an hour on this show. I didn't know I was going to make it that long. But again, appreciate all the comments coming in tonight. I like when we do these unexpected shows. They're a lot of fun. It's random. It's kind of keeps you on your feet, kind of keeps you thinking a little bit because, sometimes I don't know what to talk about, but just so much going on in sports this weekend. As you know, college football was interesting last night. Georgia with a nice bounce back win against Tennessee. The rankings will come out Tuesday. We'll see what happens with that. My Florida State team, they suck. I don't even know if they might have still lost this week, and it was a bye week, so they might still have lost. So, I'll just be glad when the season's over. Just 2 more games. We got Charleston Southern next Saturday. I mean, I'm seeing that we're a favorite. I don't even know if we can beat Charleston Southern, but I think Charleston Southern's won 1 or 2 games. So now, if we lose to that team, then yeah, we're already a joke. But if we lose to Charleston Southern, oh man, I could just see the comments. And you want to know what's bad is I wouldn't mind if they lost, just to see the comments. That's how weird I am. I like seeing comments, how bad teams are doing. Even my own. They keep me entertained. Jim says, great show per usual. Your calm voice is good for my blood pressure. Oh, thanks, Jim. I appreciate that, and I'm glad I've calmed down your blood pressure there. So cool. Thank you. Blackie, how about John Jones win? Yeah, okay. Talk about that. John Jones looking great, man. He beat Stipe Miocic last night, round 3 with the TKO, that spinning kick right to the ribs. Probably broke. He at least broke a couple ribs with Miocic. And he just looks great. I mean, he's not lost a beat. He's just probably the greatest fighter of all time, in my opinion. I mean, that one loss he had early in his career, that's because of a disqualification for an illegal elbow. So, other than that, he's never lost. I mean, look at the guys he's beaten. I mean, Cormier, Miocic, Alexander Gustafsson, the Swedish guy. I mean, he's beaten everybody, and he's just that good. He really is. So I enjoy Jon Jones. I think he's the best fighter in UFC, and now he's going to have an opportunity to face. Well, hasn't said it yet. He said he's working on that with his team, but I think we all know that his next fight is going to be against Tom Aspinall, who has the interim heavyweight title. So it'll be title for title, and then Jon Jones, I would say he'd beat Aspinall, and then after that, I think you go Alex Pereira against Jon Jones, and that one I think could go either way. I love Alex Pereira. He's a great striker. He's in the light heavyweight now, but he wants to move up, and he'll fight either Aspinall or Jon Jones. Whoever wins that one, I'm going to take Jon Jones, but a Jones Pereira fight would be incredible a year from now. So, yeah, Jon Jones, like you said, Blackie, that's the kick heard around the world. I mean, just dominated him. And yeah, Miocic's 42, and he said he's retiring. So, but still, Jon Jones, he hasn't fought in a couple years, 18 months, I think, year and a half. So, and it looks like he never lost a beat. So, yeah. Well, guys, that is pretty much all I got tonight. Again, I thought I wasn't going to be on here that long, but in about a minute and a half, it's going to be an hour long. So, thank you for being here with me, and this is a lot of fun. Again, this is a random episode. Apologize for not doing these shows the past few Fridays. Again, been busy, everything. I will say this week, though, we had the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, so I had to watch that. So yeah. And then, like I said, I got another show, Ben's Quick Picks. That's every Wednesdays during the NFL season. It's where I pick for each week. I pick all the games. It's just straight up, no over-unders, point spreads, anything like that. And it's on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015. That'll come out usually on Wednesday evenings, for my weekly picks. Right now, I'm coming into this week, I was 90 from 58. Right now, after tonight, I'll probably be 8-4 or 9-4 going into tomorrow night's game. Because the Bengals are down right now in the third quarter. I know they got the ball. They're down by 14, but we'll see what happens. Maybe they come back. I don't know. But Jim, boxing is one of the few sports where the greatest fighters were active 40 plus years ago. Yeah, I agree. Now it's all about promotion and trying to keep your perfect record intact. So it's just a different world today. The best fighters don't want to fight each other. When they do, it's rare. So I mean, look at Bud Crawford. I mean, he even took pay cuts because he wanted to fight the best, and he won. And now he's got all the belts. So I respect Terrence Crawford. He's a great fighter. Yeah. So like I said, Ben's Quick Picks every Wednesday night on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015. Also, you can follow me on X at BennyBoy702. I already told you my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015, for like the 20th time. You're also watching this live on Instagram tonight, and my Instagram is Ben70. Let me rephrase that. My Instagram is Ben702Forever. That's Ben702Forever. You can see it on the left-hand side of the video, my social media handles. And no, I don't have a TikTok. I don't know why. Maybe I'll get one day. I don't know. But Blackie says, great show. Thanks, Ben Cornett. Thank you, Blackie. Appreciate that. I do appreciate that very much. So yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Have At It, Sunday Have At It, live here on YouTube, my Facebook on the Ben Zone, and Instagram. So that being said, everybody, I am out, and I'll see you guys next time. Again, thank you very much, and have a great night. Take care.